Hello, I'm Congressman David Scott, Chairman of the Agriculture Committee. And I want to say how exciting and wonderful it is to be with you, the National Farmers Union National Convention, I believe. And I want to thank you for inviting me to say a few words. Our wonderful world of agriculture right now, like so much of the nation and the world, are going through some very serious challenges. But when it comes to agriculture, these challenges are right at the tip of the point of the spear in terms of significance and importance. And let me just say, we have a lot of important industries, but believe you me, there is no more important industry that we have than agriculture. It's the food we eat, the water we drink, the clothes we wear, our shelter, our trade, and on top of that, of the 44 states out of our 50 states, agriculture is the number one largest part of the economies of 44 out of our 50 states. When I tell people that, they say, "Oh, really?" I say, "That's right." And then when you look at this pandemic that we're into right now, and side by side with these long lines, miles and miles of cars in line, many since 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, just getting to our community food banks to get a few boxes or baskets of food. We've got a hunger crisis facing us. There's more than 12 million of our children now going to bed hungry every night. One of our fastest growing groups of those in need of food are our veterans. And so that's why I say right now, agriculture has to be at the point of the spear in all of the things we're dealing with. And so I just want you to know that not only that, but COVID-19 right now, one of the hardest groups are those of our American folks who are in rural areas, and also those of our American folks who are African American in urban areas. And I have very recently had a meeting in the Oval Office with President Biden, and I'd let him know we have got to address this discrepancy. We got to make sure that we get this COVID-19 vaccine out into the rural areas and into our processing and food plants. Those are the people that get the food to us. And if we don't take care of those, hey, we're really in a hard place. But thank goodness we got folks like yourselves, National Farmer Union members. Your legacy is great. We've had so many challenges in agriculture, and the history books are filled with how our National Farmers Union came to the rescue. Now, we've got a number of issues here in Congress we've got to put forward and do it from the perspective of agriculture. One, climate change. Right now, you see what is happening, all these different disturbances. Even just recently, who would imagine what's happening in the South, particularly in Texas? And so there's some things there. So we need to get our hearing on that, bring NASA in, the weather experts, all of those, and make sure we do that from the standpoint of our farmers and agriculture. And while we're doing that, we've got to examine disaster aid, because what we've done in Congress in the past is not getting the aid down to our farmers in time. You know, I was born on a farm in rural Ainer, South Carolina. on my grandfather's farm. Grew up there. I picked the cotton, cropped the tobacco, milked the cows, fed the hogs, plowed the fields. You know it. It's in my blood. But I've also seen Aner, like so many other small towns, almost disappearing. We have got to save our rural communities and develop them. And I want to give some tax credits to those businesses who will stay in that area. Where there are opportunities to make money, people will be there. Where there are it's the ability to connect to our internet, to broadband, people will be there and grow. So we have got to put the development of our rural communities on the front burner. And that's what I am doing. Food security, our supply chain resiliency, all involve people. We got to take care of our agricultural people who play a role in the food supply chain and the processing plants. You all know what happened in Tyson's and Smithfields, but we had to rush to get the equipment there. There are many who we need to make sure are getting this vaccination in time. And this is what I told President Biden. I said, and I think I'm pretty well fit here to be able to get that drug, get the medicine, the COVID-19 medicine and vaccines into the hardest hit areas, now that I'm chairman of the Agriculture Committee. Because, as we all know, that's where agriculture is. It's in the rural areas. We got to lift up the significance of the quality of life in our rural areas. And this is what I told the president, and we got to start by getting more of that vaccine and use the existing structures inside of these communities that they trust, the schools, the churches, and the same thing in the African American communities. One other thing I want you to know about is we have got to improve what we do in Congress when all these storms are coming to get the aid down in a quicker time. And so I'm advocating and putting together legislation to create an independent funding mechanism away from the normal and regular appropriations process because it's too political, it takes too long. When the storms are hitting, that's when we need to get that aid down to save the farms. We've lost too many. And you all know, even with some of our farmers, suicide, the pain of losing everything they've had. I know about that because my family, my grandparents, built that farm in Aner. And it's so much of the livelihood, the whole substance of life. So we've got to do that so we can get aid down to our farmers in the lick of time. So I just want you all to know that I look at our National Farmers Union as a partner in all that we are doing. But you know, there have been some complaints also of discrimination within our wonderful world of agriculture and really within the agriculture department. We've got to take a look at that so that we can make sure that our wonderful world of agriculture is open to everybody, regardless of race, creed, or color. You know, when my grandfather had his farm and started back in the 30s, 18.9% of all of the farms were owned and operated by African American people. You know what it is today? 1.8%. And so I've been in touch with Secretary Vilsack. As soon as he gets confirmed, we're going to pull together a hearing to see how we can address that issue as well. And I know how you all in the National Farmers Union are also addressing all of these issues too. So again, thank you for having me be a part of this, of your annual convention, national convention, and I look forward to working and being a very strong partner with the National Farmers Union. Thank you very much.